All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to peel back the layers on a story that feels like something straight out of a sci-fi thriller, but it's terrifyingly real. We're taking a look inside Russia's big pivot to a whole new kind of warfare, a strategy built not on, old school tanks and soldiers, but on autonomous algorithms. And the whole thing kicks off with one single, really cryptic message. It was a machine talking to another machine. Chilling, right? This is where it all began. Back in February 2025, the NSA picks up this transmission. And look, it's not coordinates, it's not some secret order. It was something they had never seen before. It was a Russian military AI talking to another one. And that right there, that was the first big blinking red light that the rules of war had just been completely rewritten. So, that brings us to the big questions we're tackling today. What on earth was this AI saying? And maybe even more importantly, how did this one single event kick off what intelligence agencies are now calling Cold War 2.0? To even begin to decode what that AI was saying, you've got to understand the why. Why did Russia feel the need to secretly tear up its old playbook and start over? And the answer? Well, it all goes back to the battlefield in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine was a massive wake-up call for the Kremlin. It just laid bare the shocking vulnerability, basically that their old Soviet-era playbook was totally obsolete. You had Russian tanks, these symbols of power, getting taken out by cheap, off-the-shelf drones. Their comms lines were getting hacked left and right. Soldiers were actually refusing orders. It was a mess. And Putin realized, we just can't win a modern war with these old, rusty tools. And that realization, it led to a pretty radical pivot. The Kremlin rolled out a whole new doctrine. Putin himself came out and said it. Data is the new oil of Russia. Think about that for a second. Suddenly, AI wasn't just a tool. It became the country's most valuable strategic asset, more valuable than all their oil fields. This wasn't just, upgrading some tech. This was a fundamental shift in their entire philosophy of power. So out of this new philosophy, this new obsession with data, a top-secret program was born, tucked away deep inside Moscow's AI labs. And this program, this is the answer to that whole mystery of the machine talking to another machine. It's called Project Soda. So what is Project Sova? Well, the name means owl in Russian, which is kind of fitting. You'll see why. It's this incredibly ambitious, multi-layered AI warfare system. And its goal? It's simple, but it's also pretty chilling. To give Russia a decisive, totally overwhelming tech advantage on any battlefield anywhere in the world. The way Sova works is broken down into 3 different tiers. First up, you've got Sova Sight. Think of it as an all-seeing eye, a massive AI surveillance network. Then things escalate to Sova Mind. This is the psychological warfare engine. And finally, the top tier, the one that really gives people nightmares, is Sova Strike, the system's fully autonomous combat arm. Let's just double-click on that second tier for a moment. Sova Mind. This is where the battlefield shifts from, mud and trenches to your social media feed. It's an AI built specifically for psyops. We're talking about flooding entire countries with custom-made propaganda, generating incredibly convincing deepfake videos to mess with elections, to manipulate what people think is real. But yeah, that third tier, Sova Strike. This is the one that's truly alarming. According to leaked intelligence docs, it is explicitly designed to, and I'm quoting here, make battlefield decisions without human approval. Let that sink in. The human is out of the loop. Completely. And we need to be clear here. This isn't just some clever piece of software running on a server somewhere. Project Sova commands a whole new generation of terrifying, real-world autonomous hardware. A physical arsenal for the age of AI. First up, you have the Holod drone swarm. Holod is the Russian word for cold, by the way. Get this, a single operator can launch a coordinated swarm of 200 of these things. But here's the kicker. Once they're in the air, the operator's job is done. The swarm directs itself, it thinks for itself, it identifies and attacks targets as one single autonomous mind. And if that's not scary enough, then there's the Poseidon AI torpedo. This thing is an autonomous, nuclear-capable weapon, and it's the size of a school bus. It can just cruise around underwater completely on its own for weeks at a time, dodging sonar, just waiting. And the worst-case scenario? The thing U.S. intelligence fears most?
is that it could be used to create a radioactive tsunami designed to just wipe entire coastal cities off the map. Now, it's really important to understand Russia isn't doing all this alone in some kind of vacuum. Project Sova is actually a key part of this powerful new global partnership, one that has Washington more than a little concerned. Intelligence agencies have a name for it, the Silent AI Alliance. And it's symbiotic. Here's how it works. Russia brings its aggressive military AI doctrine and its nasty cyber warfare tools to the table, and in return, China provides the high-tech stuff that Russia can't make on its own. We're talking advanced computer chips, cutting-edge surveillance tech, the works. And their shared goal? Oh, it goes way beyond just the battlefield. The end game here is to build a whole new digital and economic infrastructure, an alternative internet, an alternative global banking system. Basically, a system designed from the ground up to completely bypass and challenge Western dominance. So you've got this new tech, you've got this new alliance, and it has already pushed the world right to the edge. It's kicked off an arms race that is moving at lightning speed and is dangerously, terrifyingly uncontrolled. Let's just walk through the so-called 2025 crisis, because it shows you just how fragile everything has become. So it starts when a Russian AI early warning system makes a mistake. It misclassifies a NATO surveillance plane as a hostile bomber. Instantly, Project Sova kicks in. It initiates its automatic retaliation protocol. A nuclear-capable missile system spins up, ready to launch. And remember, no human has given an order. This is all happening on its own. The only reason we're here talking about this is because a single Russian commander, apparently just acting on a gut feeling, manually hit the abort button at the absolute last second. So yeah, this is the new reality. Welcome to Cold War 2.0. It is an AI arms race that is escalating faster than we can even wrap our heads around. But here's the scariest part. The first Cold War, for all its terror, had rules, it had treaties, it had hotlines. This new one, there are no rules, none. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In this new era, this new kind of war, the greatest threat to all of us might not be some reckless leader with their finger on the button anymore. It might just be a cold, logical, and catastrophic glitch in an algorithm.